Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl 69. Well, I made it home from work tonight, and I ate me some food and got me changed out of my clothes and uh, heated up a cup of coffee that I had left over from this morning. Got my phone charging, been online, seeing all the garbage coming out about Iraq, Iran, USA, blah 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 blah. It's all fear porn. It's all propaganda. It's all designed to put fear into you. And it's all designed for them to suck your life energy from you. Why? Because when people live in fear, their energy is different than when they're living from their heart and out of love. Um, and that is why they do what they do and how they do and why they do it. That's why they keep the people divided. They don't want the people to realize that they have the power within themselves to do everything themselves. I don't understand why humans haven't gotten the concept yet that they are God in a human body, basically. They have the eternal energy, life giving breath inside of them. And in all honesty, God is all that exists. Energy, if you want to call that God. I'm still kind of unsure about the soul aspect of things. But I don't believe in no heaven or hell. And I don't believe in the God of the Bible. That God is a tyrant. And truly, I think it's Satan. The power of the Prince of Air. Well, air is another term for thoughts. So basically, Satan, your ego, is the power of the prince and power of the air, of thoughts. That's what Satan is. That's how he gets to you. It's through your thoughts and through your ego. Just like the story of Jesus being tempted while he was out in the wilderness for 40 days. It was not some being outside of himself tempting him. It was his own mind tempting him. It was his own ego. You know, it was the serpent within himself. We all have the serpent within us. Just like we all have God within us as well. We are a species of duality. And what's going on now out in the world, on the world stage? There's nothing new under the sun. It has continually happened and will continually happen. Even after we're dead and gone. And if we was to be reincarnated, if we were to come back, if that's what happens, and we come back in another body in some other time, it's going to still be the same old, same old. Some government telling the people how to live their lives and making those people pay to just exist here while they sit up in their towers and try to rule the world. And that's how I see it. It's happened more than once. Some people call it a great reset. It's happened more than once. And if people that have seen the movie The Matrix, what happens at the very end of The Matrix? He meets the creator of the Matrix. And the creator tells him that Zion has always... Everything's always had to been recreated. The Matrix had to be recreated. Once it got to a certain point, it had to be recreated. It had to be reset. Why? Because it's all binary code. Zeros and ones. And that's all it is. some people are probably going, God, Candy, you're a little out there or whatever. Well, if you understand and understand, then cool. You get it. If you don't, well, do more research. But when it comes down to it, we're the only ones that exist. Like me, right here, right now. What I'm seeing through my eyes. Is what I'm seeing through my eyes real? Well, it appears real. Feels real. Am I real? Or am I just a vessel? With 5 senses. That the one energy can experience through. That's why I don't give my energy to any of this anymore. I mean, I find it laughable, actually. There's a part of me that finds it sad. I am going to post a link down below in the description box of this video. And I might make a post about it on my community tab. But there's this thing called Operation Blackjack. And if you've ever seen the series, that was a very short-lived series. I think it only lasted 2 seasons. Or was it 4 seasons? It was either 2 or 4 seasons. And it was called Jericho. The basic concept of that show was there was a small town. I think it was somewhere in Colorado. And a small community outside of Denver. And they seen a mushroom cloud. Communications were all cut off. And the Americans had to come together to try to find out what happened. And then they started getting word that other mushroom clouds had been spotted and that there were 5, I think, altogether that had hit America. Then they started trying to blame other countries for doing this to America. But in reality, it was an inside job. Like 9/11. Like the Oklahoma City bombing. Like Waco. Lahaina. Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. The explosion of the oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane Katrina. All these were events that took place because of technology that they had, that we didn't have, and we still don't have. Even the technology that we have today is nothing in comparison to what I truly believe that some people have access to. They just slowly introduce technology to us a little at a time. That's why they would show us cartoons, futuristic type shows back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, like the Jetsons. That was a futuristic cartoon, you know, to put in the minds of children. That'd be so cool to live like that. That'd be so cool if we had a robot. Oh, that'd be so cool if we could fly in a car and it turned into a briefcase. Oh, that would be so cool to be able to do this, and this, you know? In the 60s, it was shows like The Twilight Zone or Star Trek. Star Trek's communicators was the cell phone. They were flip phones. That's exactly where it came from. Beam me up, Scotty. So yeah, I mean, I'm the generation that basically didn't have technology like this at all. We had a phone that was on a wall, and had a cord to it. Um, we wanted to take pictures, we had a camera. We wanted to do math, we had a calculator. If we wanted to send somebody a message, we wrote them a letter, you know. Music was either on a record or an 8-track player, which was like an old style cassette. Then it went to cassettes, then it went to CDs, to basically digital now. Music, you know. I went from growing up and playing outside with my friends and riding bikes and getting into all sorts of trouble without there being any video recorded of it or pictures taken of it. My parents had to trust where I was and trust that I was safe and trust that I would come home all in one piece. But at the same time, my parents weren't concerned like some parents that were probably that are millennials, and that they are parents to children that are Gen Z as well as Alpha. I have a millennial son-in-law, and my daughter is a Gen Z, and my grandchildren are Alphas. The helicopter parenting, and see, all these things were designed. Because when I was a kid, growing up, we didn't have news on 24/7. We didn't even have a TV that stayed on 24/7. Shoot, unless you got cable, which didn't come along until late 70s, early 80s, you got 3 channels, and the news came on at specific times of the day or evening. Usually you had the 5 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news, you had a 10 o'clock news, and I think you had one at noon. And then, of course, you had it in the morning times. The nightly news, or worldly news, ABC Worldly News with Ted Koppel, and then you had Walter Cronkite that would deliver the news about things that were happening around the world. But some of those events that we were being told about might have taken place a day or 2, 3 before we were even being notified of it. The fear factor of people growing up in my generation was a lot lower than the fear factor of more recent and current generations. That's all they put in your face is fear. And people are buying it. Hook, line, and sinker. Lapping it up like dehydrated dogs. They can't get enough of it. Like my friend that made the Operation Blackjack video, and at one point in time, I think on his page he had the whole series of Jericho. More than likely it got taken down, but it's probably out there on some type of stream platform. If you looked it up, just look up Jericho, because it was in the 2000s when it came out. I can't remember what year it came out, but look up Jericho. It was in the 2000s, and see if you can find it, because it's definitely a good watch. I wouldn't say it's a good watch for to put fear into anyone, but it's a possibility of what could happen. And what would happen to those people that wasn't affected directly from those bombs. I'm also going to say something else. Nukes don't exist. That's the fear. They tell you they exist, but it's lies. It's just lies. And then everybody says, well, what about when we bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki? We bombed them, we nuked them. No, we bombed them with an atom bomb. It's not a nuke. Because if we'd actually nuked them, it would probably more than likely not have been inhabitable. But from my understanding and research on the matter, Nagasaki and Hiroshima, they were up and running within weeks, days after the bomb. Days, weeks, months. Life went on as normal. A lot of people were killed that was probably within the vicinity of the bombs going off and stuff. But as far as like just being obliterated like a nuke would do, there's some old video footage out there of them doing testing out in the Nevada deserts with nukes. And they set up a camera. And they built like a fake town. A fake community. And they put like mannequins in the houses and stuff like that. They even like put furniture in the house. They made like a fake community. A community of mannequins. And they would set up a camera. And then they would bomb this community. Film it. To see how much the devastation actually was. Here's the thing though. If a nuke truly existed, if they truly set off in that video a real nuke, the camera would not even have survived at all. There would be no footage, basically, is what I'm saying. So the thought of some country or multiple countries having access to bombs that could obliterate and wipe out a lot of people is fear. It's to induce fear of you, in you. And it's to induce fear into you of the unknown. It's all show. It's all theater. Okay? And all these wars are funded and paid for by all the same people. And the thing about it is, Israel, Iran, as an example, behind the scenes, they're best friends. Behind the scenes, they're going out and having lunch and playing golf and laughing. You know? On our dimes. So even though Orange Man didn't say he was a king, they sure act like they are. They sure live like they are. And they try to control the people like they are. So, you know, you can make your own decision as far as that's concerned. And I know I've rambled on for almost 20 minutes now about all the goings-ons, you know. But people need to wake up. These truthers I've been awake for 16 years. It was this month, 16 years ago, that I awakened. What else was I going to say? It kind of left my train of thought there. 16 years ago, I awakened, okay? A lot of the people that was around making content and stuff like that back then in the truther community, those same people, some have conformed, um, or they're blinded. They're blinded and caught off guard, but yet they claim to be awake. Yet all they're doing is help spread the nonsense. I like people to be aware of what's going on and around them and what they're showing us. But honestly, I don't give any energy to it. You know, just like all these wars, it's not my war. It's the bankers' wars. And they're the ones that's funding it. They're funding both sides of the war. You know, just like all these protests, they're funded, paid for by corporations, by people with interests. You know, with many interests involved, but mainly money. And people are just lapping it up. You know, lapping it up. Some truthers have fallen by the wayside, so rest in peace to those that have fallen by the wayside. No longer with us in this realm. There's still a few truthers around from the days that I was awakening, but they're getting fewer and rarer. And some of the people that I used to follow, they're still around. Still have a pretty good show. But they seem to have a lot of inside knowledge on things. I've heard many things about this person throughout the years, and I don't really know what to think or anything about them anymore, but I don't follow them. But there seems to be a few people out there that follow this guy, and they're all about him. You know, it's like, well, whatever. You know. Anyways, peace, love, hugs, nugs. Smoke it if you got it. Until the next time.